What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel, and as you can see, I'm quite pumped and excited to share this video with you. I am at my 200 hours. I don't know why I pulled out my second hand there, but like 200 hour update of Dreaming Spanish. This is my progression board, 200 hours, boom, right there. I'm partway into level 3, and as you can see, I've been clocking up roughly 3 hours per day for the last 2.5, 3-ish weeks. Like, I've been going hard, my boys, except for 2 days there where I kind of slacked off, but you guys can publicly whip me for that later on. But yeah, overall, I have been going hard. Now, it has had its days, some days where it was quite easy to do 3 hours, some days where it was actually a bit of a struggle, but I've found a way to kind of do it that makes it less painful overall. So what I do is, like, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I actually get up a little bit earlier now, I do an hour straight up, because I think to myself, as I wake up, okay, I'm just going to do an hour of watching content. That's my objective. That's it. Don't think about the 3 hours overall. That's just too crazy. I just think about that 1 hour. I get that 1 hour out and I forget about it. And then when it comes lunchtime, I do about half an hour there, depending, you know, because I've got to eat food, obviously. And then at the end of the day, realistically, I've got like 1 hour, 1 hour and a half to do. And that doesn't seem so bad to do after work. Now, the problem happens, and this is interesting, okay? I'm able to do this rhythm quite efficiently during the week, generally, but on the weekend, it actually gets hard, even though I've got so much more free time. Because during the week, I've established a routine. Wake up early, do an hour, lunchtime, hit it with like 45 minutes, whatever, and then after work, finish it off. But on the weekend, it's like I wake up late, you know, you kind of like, you got the whole day ahead of you, you know, so much time to do whatever you want. So what do? You sit there fiddling with yourself, procrastinating, because, well, it's just kind of hard to plan on the weekends, and plus, you know, things happen on the weekends, obviously. During the week, I have more of a set routine, but I have been managing to do it. So let's talk about what I've noticed. So first up, around 164 hours, I started to pick up on specific words that are quite handy, like the word for like too much, you know, the two there. I think it's ton or tan, I can't remember, it's something like that. But then I started picking up adjectives for like fun, horrible, and a few other ones as well. And although these seem like minor things to be picking up, they're used a lot in the beginner, like the late beginner videos, and now the intermediate videos. And that's where at about 173 hours, I put my little toes into the intermediate section, and I realized the most easiest intermediate videos I could actually watch and understand. But then very, very, very quickly, I watched all of the most easiest intermediate ones, and then I was hit with the slightly harder intermediate ones, and then again, I was just out of my like game. So I went back to the beginner videos and just started smashing the beginner videos. And in fact, the best beginner videos I find not to be the flashy ones, you know, these ones with shell and all this, with like the beautiful like camera setups and music and all this type of shit. No, it's literally just Pablo sitting in his freaking dungeon scribbling on a whiteboard. Those are the best ones, and I think those are the best ones because they use a more direct methodology, which is where you actually literally draw out everything that you're saying, as opposed to the ones where it's like shell and all that, and they're just talking. It's just talking, and you hope to pick up a word in context type of thing. But with Pablo's old dungeon videos, the ones where I swear to God, you can hear someone in the background go, I don't want to do any more Dreaming Spanish. Like, those ones are the good ones. I recommend those ones. So I've actually, like, changed the order, basically, to go by oldest. And I'm just watching those ones, because even though the camera is bad, the sound quality sometimes is bad, those are the ones where I'm making the most progress. Okay, at around 186 hours, I wanted to kind of get like an idea of what I understood if I was hit with native content. So I went over to Disney Plus and I checked out Tomorrowland, which I find to be just kind of like an inspiring Disney movie. Anyway, I watched that for about, I think, 15 to 20 minutes and realized I understood almost nothing. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess I am getting a bit ahead of the game here. So like, it was worth the shot. Anyway, so then I continued on all the way up to where I am now at the 200 mark. Now, I have noticed some things along the way, some things that have been annoying me. So like, often when they say, I don't know, it's like, no sé, okay? But they'll also then sometimes say, no lo sé, or no lo sé, no sé. No lo sé. Like, that lo in there, whatever it is, it fucking pisses me off, man. I can't figure it out. Like, it just does not make sense. It's just so random. But anyway, you know, I'm sure one day it will just click and I'll get it. Okay, I've basically, at this point, just been picking up more nouns, more adjectives, some verbs. Like, not really picking up too much depth with the things. Like, I get the overall general gist of what's going on, which is what you're meant to do at this stage, and, you know, just kind of understanding it like that, but, like, not much of the actual details are coming out, well, at least not very often. Now, I have noticed up until this point that I go through various stages of acquisition with these words, okay? So basically, the first stage of acquisition will basically be, I don't know a word. I'll hear it, it'll just be random sound, it'll fly by, and that'll be about it. The second stage of acquisition is basically where I hear the same word repeated several times, but I have no idea what it means. But I do know it's linked to the previous time I've heard it in some way or another because, like, the sounds match in my head. The third stage will be like, okay, now I start to understand what it means. Like, I get a fuzzy idea around it. Then the fourth stage is like, boom, yeah, I understand it. Okay, it just clicks one day. But then I get hit with this fifth stage where it's like that word just appears in another context, and my like mental image of what it means overall just goes out the shitter because I'm like, wait, it makes no sense here. And then I go through that whole like 5 stages again, and then it's like, boom, okay, now I understand it all again. So it's a very weird and interesting process overall, where you go to the point where you think you fully understand it, and then it gets used in some way you don't expect, and then you become dubious about everything that you know about this word. Okay, now obviously I'm not sitting there thinking over these things and mulling them type of thing, but like after my sessions where I go for a walk or something, these words, because I listen to 3 hours per day, my guys, these things are just like kind of like bouncing around in my head constantly. Okay, it's like an echo that's just sitting in the back of my head. I can't get it out sometimes, and there has been instances where I've just gone nossa, you know, just like random things like this just in conversation. But anyway, some other interesting things at this point is the numbers. Okay, so up to 10, I'm perfectly fine with the numbers now up to 10. However, there's something weird. I don't know what it is, but there's something weird going on with Spanish numbers between 11 and I think 14. Like, I think they don't follow a system. Okay, they might be like the English 11 and 12. I'm not sure. Because, you know, we've got teens, 13, 14, 15, but then you got 11 and 12. I think there's something weird going on with Spanish numbers there, or maybe I'm completely wrong. But after 15, I'm generally fine. And then the 20s, numbers in the 20s, I just get. Like, no problem, just boom, they just instantly, I just know what they mean, okay? And I think it's because the videos where they talk about stuff, they talk about ages and quantities and stuff, they're either speaking about a number that's below 10, or they're speaking in a number that's in the 20 range. You know, ages and stuff like that. So, like, those two sets of numbers I'm fine, but, like, there's a grey area in between there. Like, the teens are okay-ish, but the early teens, yeah, not so sure about that one. Okay, so that's basically my update about where I'm at dreaming Spanish-wise. So let's now go watch some content together and see how badly I can translate for you all. Okay, so let's go into the beginner range, but I'm gonna go into the upper beginner range. Actually, let's try an intermediate video, okay? We're going to try something crazy now. We're going to try an intermediate video because I am kind of in the early intermediate. Like, I keep bouncing between intermediate and beginner, but maybe I can do an intermediate video for you guys. So let's do this. So we're going to go levels, intermediate, and let's like pick a not too difficult intermediate. So we're just going to go to here. I think like I'm generally okay with these, I think. And then with these, it's a bit of a struggle. So I might try just here. Okay, so as you can see, I've watched a bunch of these. She'll teach you Spanish. Okay, let's go with that. Okay, I'm just going to jump to a random point in this video. Let's go here. And begin.
Espero poder visitar todos esos países.
I think she's saying she hopes that she can visit, like, all the different places.
Pronto.
Oh, soon.
Antes de envejecer.
Hopefully before, and I don't know what that next word is, but I'm assuming it means like death or something.
Qué lindo y qué importante. Y
so Linda, I think means like Esperanto keeps influencing me here, but I think it means, you know, like cute almost, cutish. That's, I don't know, but like important.
Como tienes un amor tan grande por los animales, ¿cuál es tu animal favorito?
Did she say something about like a big death for animals? And what's your favorite animal, obviously?
¿Tienes un favorito?
Do you have one?
Sí, varios. Bueno, el primero, gatos.
So she said various different types, but the first one is cats.
Obvio.
Oh, this actually brings me up to a grammar point that I have noticed, okay? And I know some ALG people hate me discussing grammar in these videos, but let's be honest. I'm doing an experiment. You guys want to be able to like understand what I understand, yeah? So I'm going to share my now reflective thoughts about what I've noticed. I now know that there's at least 2 genders in Spanish. And the male gender, I'm assuming, ends in O because you got niño and then niña, okay? Which is then the girl, okay? Now, I've noticed that the plurality is niños and then niñas. So you got like male plurality and female plurality. However, I feel like in there's an S ending, but I'm not sure. I still not sure on that one though. But this is something that I've kind of noticed. And I have been, when I did first notice those endings and the plurality of it, I started noticing them on all the nouns, okay?
Me gustan mucho los gatos.
So she really likes cats.
Me gustan también los monos.
She also likes money. Not money. Monkeys.
Me encantan. Y
loves
los
them.
ajolotes.
Ajolotes. I have no idea what that is. Maybe it's a bird.
Ay, son hermosos, son
Sí.
Oh, so I think she's basically saying here, oh, that's like so awesome.
divinos. ¿Y en tu casa tú tienes alguna mascota?
And in your house, do you have any other pets?
Me imagino que tienes gatos, ¿verdad?
I imagine that you also have cats, truly, or really.
Sí, bueno, antes vivía con mi mamá y ahí tenía 3 gatos
So previously when I lived with my mum, I had 3 cats
y 2 perros.
and 2 dogs.
Pero ahora me mudé acá y ellos se quedaron con mi mamá.
But after moving here, something about with her mum.
Pero sí, voy a verlos todas las semanas.
Okay, so we've seen this video. Let's try a different one.
Con una cultura que mezcla las raíces sudamericanas
I think she's saying like a culture that's mixed from like South American races, maybe?
con la inmigración,
With immigration,
la influencia europea.
obviously influenced by Europeans.
Con todos los inmigrantes, muchos profesionales de Francia y de Italia,
So I did understand it, but I've kind of like forgotten it now because I held it in my head for too long. I'll just quickly go back one little bit.
muchos profesionales
So many professionals,
de Francia y de Italia
obviously from France and Italy.
vinieron a Argentina.
So living in Argentina.
Dentro de ellos había muchos arquitectos
I don't know what that first word was, but she's obviously saying there's many architects,
que se encargaron de diseñar la ciudad.
which I guess designed the city. But yeah, as you can see, like intermediate videos is kind of hit and miss for me. I'm only just starting to touch on them now type of thing. And this is really obvious when I go back to the super beginner videos, which remember only a few months ago were the only things that I could kind of get. And now they just feel slow and boring as hell. And easy beginner videos are easy. There was a time when I did not understand them. So I'm definitely making progress. And I've had some people in the comments say things like, you know, I don't speak any Spanish at all, but I understood all of that. And yeah, maybe that's true, okay? Maybe you do. Maybe there's just enough context clues here for you to pick up and, you know, put the whole thing together. But there is specific words and structures and stuff now that I am hearing that I did not understand before. So I am definitely learning, although I've been at this for 200 hours. So let's see where I am in about, I guess, 2.5 to 3 weeks, because let's keep at the 3 hours a day. Yeah, go sane. I'm gonna start bleeding from my eyes at this goddamn rate, but I feel you might be wondering why I'm doing 3 hours per day, okay? It's because it's the only way I feel like I'm actually making progress. Before, when I was doing 1 hour per day, I felt nana. No progress, okay? But now when I do 3 hours per day, I can actually feel the progress. I feel like, realistically, maybe this is just a me thing, but if I don't know how someone could do less. Less would just seem to me like I'm not making progress. Yeah. Okay, well that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you want to continue following my Dreaming Spanish journey every 50 hours until I hit that 2k hours, then sub to the channel. And I've also got a 100k challenge. Okay, so I released a video a while ago. I'll give you the summary about it, but basically it says when I hit 100k subs, I will let the community decide what my next language is to learn, and I will record my entire process and all the methods that I use along the way to learn it. I'll see you all in the next video.